Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. We love to dig into all sorts of topics here, and today we're diving into something that I know a lot of you have been eager to explore.
Yeah, real estate investing.
Real estate investing.
Mhm.
And, you know,
It's a hot topic.
it's a hot topic.
Yeah.
It is,
For a
and
good reason.
for good reason, absolutely. And speaking of real estate investing and building wealth through real estate, remember those incredibly popular episodes we did with Robert Flowers about special needs housing? Well, he's back with a brand new book
He is.
that is perfect for anyone wanting to get started in real estate investing.
Yeah. Whether you're completely new to the game or just looking to kind of expand your knowledge,
Darius.
brush up on things,
Yeah,
this book is really for everyone.
it is. It's called Real Estate Investment Strategies for Beginners, the Basics of Rental Property and Wholesaling. And it covers a wide range of topics, everything from understanding just the fundamentals of real estate to like very specific techniques for finding those profitable deals. So we've got excerpts from the book itself, along with some additional resources on commercial real estate and property management.
Yeah, we wanted to give you the full picture.
Yes, our mission today is to give you a taste of what Robert Flowers has to offer and help you decide if this book is the key to unlocking your real estate investing potential.
That's right.
Okay, so one of the first things that struck me when I started reading the book was this statistic. 90% of the world's millionaires built their fortune through real estate.
It's pretty amazing, right?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
That's a pretty compelling argument for why we should all be paying attention to this asset class.
It definitely grabs your attention. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's break down what real estate actually is.
Okay.
I mean, we all know it's about land and buildings,
Yeah.
but what are the different types of real estate markets that we should be aware of?
Yeah, so the book defines real estate as land plus any permanent structures on it.
Okay.
So think houses, apartments, office buildings, shopping malls,
Got it.
essentially anything that's built on land. But it's not just one big homogeneous market.
Right.
There are distinct categories like urban, suburban, and emerging markets, each with its own kind of dynamics and investment potential.
Okay, so why does understanding these different markets matter for someone who's just starting out in real estate investing?
Yeah.
What's the practical takeaway?
Well, imagine you're interested in investing in like a rapidly growing area
Okay.
with high appreciation potential.
Yeah.
An emerging market might be a good fit,
Okay.
but if you prioritize stability and like consistent cash flow, perhaps a more established suburban market would be better suited to your goals.
Okay.
The key is to kind of align your investment strategy with the characteristics of the market that you're targeting.
Got it. So it's not just about finding any property.
Right.
It's about finding the right property
That's right.
in the right market for your
Exactly.
specific investment goals.
Exactly.
Now, the book also mentions something called market cycles,
Oh, yeah.
which sounds a bit intimidating to me.
Yeah, it can be a little bit.
Can you demystify that concept for us?
Think of it like a wave with peaks and valleys.
Okay.
So there's a pattern of recovery, expansion, hypersupply, and recession in real estate markets.
Oh, wow.
And each phase presents kind of unique opportunities and challenges for investors.
So how can understanding these cycles help someone make smarter investment decisions? It sounds like trying to time the market,
Right.
which can be tricky.
Yeah, it's not necessarily about perfectly timing the market, but more about recognizing the signs of each phase
Okay.
and adjusting your strategy accordingly.
Okay.
For example, during a recovery phase,
Hmm.
you might find great deals on undervalued properties.
Okay.
Or in a hypersupply phase, you might want to focus on areas with like really strong rental demand
Right.
to mitigate the risk of vacancy.
Okay, so it's about being aware of the broader market context and making informed decisions based on where you think the market is heading.
Exactly.
Now let's dive into one of the most popular ways to invest in real estate residential rental properties.
This is where many people begin their real estate investing journey.
Yeah.
The allure of generating passive income while building long-term wealth is undeniable.
Right.
And one of the core principles Robert Flowers emphasizes is finding lucrative properties.
Okay, so what makes a rental property lucrative? Is it simply about finding a property with the highest rent?
It's more nuanced than that.
Okay.
The key is positive cash flow.
Okay.
It's not just about how much rent you can collect, but how much is left after covering all expenses.
Okay.
So your mortgage payments, your property taxes, insurance maintenance, and so on.
Got it.
Ideally, you want your rental income to exceed these expenses, creating a profit each month.
You're not just breaking even.
Right.
You're actually putting money in your pocket
That's right.
every month.
Every single month.
The book delves into strategies for finding these cash flow positive properties. What are some examples that stood out to you?
The book stresses looking beyond the surface,
Okay.
that you need to consider factors like rental demand in the area, the average rent prices, potential expenses like property taxes, which can fluctuate significantly, and the property's condition.
Right.
A fixer-upper might seem like a steal, but those renovation costs can quickly eat into your profits.
So it's about seeing the big picture, analyzing the numbers,
Yeah.
and not just falling in love with a property based on aesthetics or a low asking price.
Exactly.
Now, one thing that often gets overlooked is the human element. Tenants.
Yes.
Why is understanding your tenants so crucial, and what insights does the book offer on that front?
Your tenants are essentially your business partners in a rental property venture. They're the ones generating that cash flow.
Right.
The book talks about understanding tenant demographics,
Okay.
their needs and expectations, and how to attract and retain reliable tenants.
So, for example, are you targeting young professionals or families?
Exactly.
Knowing your audience helps you tailor your property and marketing efforts.
Yes.
It's about creating a positive tenant experience that benefits both parties. Now, we've talked about positive cash flow, but what are some other benefits of owning residential rental properties? I mean, why else would someone choose this investment strategy?
One of the biggest advantages is appreciation. Historically, real estate tends to increase in value over time.
Yeah.
Even if your rental income stays constant, your property itself becomes more valuable, building wealth in the long run.
Okay, so it's a long-term game.
It is.
And this appreciation ties into another benefit the book mentions, diversification.
Yes.
Can you explain what that means and why it's relevant for our listeners?
Diversification is all about spreading your investments across different asset classes. Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Right.
By diversifying your portfolio, you reduce your risk.
Oh.
If one investment underperforms, others can help cushion the blow.
So if the stock market takes a dip, your real estate holdings can provide some stability.
Exactly.
It's about balancing your portfolio for long-term financial health. But let's be real, buying a rental property can feel like a huge leap, especially for someone starting out.
Sure.
How do you even begin?
The book has some great entry-level strategies.
Okay.
One that's particularly appealing is house hacking.
Oh.
It's a clever way to get your foot in the door without needing a massive amount of upfront capital.
Okay, break this down for us. What is house hacking, and how does it work in practice?
Imagine buying a duplex or a multifamily property.
Okay.
You live in one unit
Okay.
and rent out the others.
Got it.
The rent you collect from your tenants helps cover your mortgage, essentially lowering your own living expenses.
Brilliant. You're living for less, gaining experience as a landlord, and building equity in a property all at once.
That's right.
Now, we've been talking about residential real estate, but what about commercial real estate? That sounds a bit more intimidating, right?
It can seem that way,
Yeah.
but it also has the potential for significantly higher returns.
Okay.
Of course, higher returns often come with higher risks, so it's essential to understand the nuances of this market.
All right. So what are the key differences between residential and commercial real estate that someone new to this needs to know? What are the biggest factors to consider?
One of the most significant differences is the lease structure.
Okay.
Residential leases are typically shorter term, often just a year.
Right.
Commercial leases, on the other hand, can span much longer periods.
Wow.
Sometimes 5, 10, or even 20 years.
Okay.
This offers landlords greater stability in terms of rental income.
So you're locking in that rental income for a longer period. But longer leases also mean more commitment from both parties, right? If the market changes or a tenant's business struggles, those longer leases could become a liability.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that leads us to another key difference: risk. Commercial real estate generally carries a higher risk profile than residential.
Okay.
Businesses are more susceptible to economic downturns than individuals.
Right.
If a business goes bankrupt, they might not be able to pay their rent. A family, on the other hand, still needs a place to live even in tough times.
Right. They got to have a roof over their heads.
Exactly.
Okay, so higher potential rewards, but also higher potential risks. It's a trade-off to consider carefully.
It is.
The resources we have on commercial real estate mention some interesting metrics for evaluating the profitability of these properties. Cap rate and cash-on-cash return.
Yeah, those are important ones.
Can you break these down for our listeners?
Absolutely. The cap rate or capitalization rate helps compare the income potential of different properties.
Okay.
You calculate it by dividing the property's net operating income by its market value.
So,
A higher cap rate generally indicates a better potential return on your investment.
so it's a quick way to assess the income-generating potential of a property relative to its price.
That's right.
But what about cash-on-cash return? How is that different?
Cash-on-cash return is more specific to your individual investment.
Okay.
It focuses on the actual cash you earn on the cash you invested, taking into account any financing you use to purchase the property.
Okay.
So if you used a mortgage, the cash-on-cash return would reflect that.
So it's a more personalized metric showing the actual cash flow you can expect based on your specific investment strategy.
Exactly.
Now, commercial real estate isn't just one big category either.
Right.
Our resources break down different types of commercial properties, such as retail, industrial, mixed use. What stands out to you as particularly interesting or surprising?
The rise of industrial properties as a stable investment,
Oh, really?
particularly with the growth of e-commerce,
Interesting.
is quite fascinating. We're talking warehouses, distribution centers,
Okay.
those massive structures you see near highways.
Yeah.
As online shopping continues to boom, demand for these industrial spaces is skyrocketing.
So it's not just about brick and mortar stores anymore.
Right.
It's about the infrastructure
Exactly.
behind online shopping.
Exactly.
Makes sense. Now, commercial leases also sound a lot more complex than residential leases.
They can be.
Our source material mentions triple net leases.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain those and why our listeners should care?
Triple net leases are common in commercial real estate.
Okay.
In addition to rent, the tenant is also responsible for property taxes, insurance, and maintenance.
Oh, wow. So they're covering all of it.
Well, most of it.
Okay.
This shifts much of the financial burden from the landlord to the tenant.
So for the landlord, it's a way to have more predictable expenses.
Yes.
Knowing what you're getting each month, regardless of fluctuations in those other costs. But for the tenant, it adds complexity and potentially higher overhead.
Exactly.
It's crucial to understand these lease structures, whether you're the landlord or the tenant, before signing on the dotted line.
Absolutely.
Now let's shift gears and talk about a completely different approach to real estate investing, wholesaling.
Okay.
This is where things get creative, right?
Wholesaling is all about finding deals, securing them under contract, and then assigning those contracts to other buyers for a profit.
Okay.
You're essentially a middleman, connecting motivated sellers with eager buyers.
And the book emphasizes that you don't even need a lot of capital to get started with wholesaling, which is great for beginners.
That's a huge advantage.
It is. But how do you actually make money without owning property?
Okay.
Can you walk us through an example?
Sure. Let's say you find a house that needs repairs and the owner wants to sell quickly.
Okay.
You negotiate a price, get it under contract, but instead of buying it yourself, you find another buyer, often an investor, looking to flip or rent and assign your contract to them for a higher price.
So you're profiting from the difference between the price you negotiated with the seller and the price you assigned the contract for.
That's right.
It's like finding a hidden gem and connecting the right buyer with the right seller. But is this even legal?
Yeah.
It sounds almost too good to be true.
I understand the skepticism, but legitimate wholesaling is completely legal.
Okay.
It's all about transparency and honesty.
Okay.
You're not trying to deceive anyone. You're providing a valuable service to both sellers and buyers. You're helping sellers offload properties they no longer want and helping buyers find properties that meet their criteria.
So it's a win-win situation.
Exactly.
You're facilitating a transaction that benefits everyone involved.
Yeah.
But I imagine there are some ethical considerations, right?
Of course.
How do you ensure you're acting ethically as a wholesaler?
Ethical wholesaling hinges on transparency and fair dealing.
Okay.
You're upfront with both the seller and the buyer about your role and your intentions.
Okay.
You're not pressuring anyone or taking advantage of difficult situations. It's about building trust and creating a positive experience for all parties involved.
So it's not about taking advantage of desperate sellers
Right.
or inflating prices for buyers.
Yeah.
It's about finding a fair price that works for everyone.
Exactly.
And because you're not buying the property yourself,
Yeah.
you're also avoiding many of the traditional risks associated with real estate investing.
That's a major advantage, especially for beginners.
Yeah.
You don't need to worry about financing renovations or dealing with tenants. It's a lower risk way to get your feet wet in the real estate world.
So it's a great way to learn the ropes, build your network, and gain experience without taking on a ton of financial risk.
Absolutely.
Okay, we've established that wholesaling is legal, ethical, and a relatively low-risk way to get started in real estate. But how do you actually do it? What are the steps involved?
The book dives into specific techniques,
Okay.
and a crucial one is finding motivated sellers.
Okay.
We're talking about people who need to sell quickly due to financial distress, foreclosure, or even life changes like divorce or relocation. These individuals are more likely to accept a lower price for a fast sale.
Okay, so where do you find these motivated sellers? Are you knocking on doors or sending out mass mailers?
Those methods can be effective, but there are other approaches as well.
Okay.
Direct mail marketing targeting specific neighborhoods with postcards or letters is still a viable option.
Okay.
Online platforms like Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, and real estate websites can also be gold mines for finding distressed properties or motivated sellers. And you can leverage online advertising to target your ideal audience.
So it's about being strategic, using a combination of online and offline marketing techniques to reach those motivated sellers.
Yeah.
But what happens once you've found a potential deal? How do you approach the negotiation process?
Negotiation is a key skill in wholesaling.
Yeah.
The book offers practical advice on how to approach sellers, build rapport, and present offers that are both attractive and beneficial to both parties. It's not about lowballing or taking advantage of someone's situation.
Yeah.
It's about finding a fair price that works for everyone.
So it's a collaborative process, not an adversarial one.
Exactly.
You're trying to find a solution that benefits both the seller and yourself. Now, the book also mentions building a buyer's list.
Yes.
Why is this important, and how do you go about doing it?
Remember, the goal of wholesaling is to assign your contracts to other buyers.
Right.
Having a list of pre-qualified buyers ready to go is essential.
Okay.
This speeds up the process and increases your chances of closing deals quickly and efficiently.
So you're not scrambling to find a buyer after you've already secured a property. You've got your network in place ready to jump on a good deal.
Yeah.
But how do you build this list of buyers? Is it all about networking?
Networking is certainly a key component. Attending real estate investment meetings, connecting with other investors online, and even letting people in your personal network know that your wholesaling properties can help you build your buyers list.
Oh, yeah.
You can also use online marketing to attract potential buyers, showcasing your expertise and the types of deals you specialize in.
So you're essentially marketing on both ends, finding motivated sellers and attracting eager buyers.
That's right.
You're the connector, the facilitator. It's like a matchmaking service for real estate deals.
You could say that.
But before we get too excited, let's talk about the serious stuff, legal and financial considerations. What are some key legal aspects that Robert Flowers touches upon in his book that are particularly relevant for beginners?
One of the most important legal documents in wholesaling is the assignment contract. This contract transfers your rights to purchase the property to your end buyer.
Okay.
Having a well-drafted assignment contract is crucial to protect yourself legally
Right.
and ensure a smooth transaction.
So this contract clearly outlines what's being transferred, the financial terms and the responsibilities of each party involved. It's all about transparency and clarity to prevent misunderstandings or disputes down the road. Are there any other legal aspects beginners should be aware of?
Real estate laws can vary significantly from state to state.
Right.
It's always a good idea to consult with a real estate attorney familiar with the laws in your specific location.
Of course.
They can help you navigate the complexities of the legal landscape and ensure you're operating within the guidelines.
Excellent advice. Now, wholesaling might not require a ton of upfront capital, but it's still a business.
It is.
What advice does the book offer on budgeting, financing, and managing your credit score?
Robert Flowers stresses the importance of treating your wholesaling business like any other business. You need a budget, a system for tracking expenses, and a plan for managing cash flow.
So even if you're starting small, having that financial foundation in place is crucial for long-term success.
It is.
What about financing? Is that as big of a concern in wholesaling as it is in traditional real estate investing where you're actually buying properties?
Financing is less of a concern in wholesaling since you're not purchasing the properties yourself.
Right.
However, maintaining a good credit score is still crucial.
Right.
It can open doors to better deals with sellers, build trust with buyers, and demonstrate your financial responsibility, which is vital in any business dealing.
It's about building that reputation as a reliable and trustworthy professional.
Exactly.
Now, we can't forget about everyone's favorite topic, taxes.
Oh, yeah. Everyone loves taxes.
How does the book address tax considerations and benefits for real estate investors, particularly those involved in wholesaling?
While the book primarily focuses on the mechanics and strategies of wholesaling, it does touch upon some key tax considerations. For instance, it highlights the importance of understanding capital gains taxes, which apply to profits made from selling assets, including real estate contracts.
So even though you're not holding on to the property itself,
Right.
you still need to be aware of the tax implications of your profits.
That's right.
It's about being informed and potentially consulting with a tax professional to ensure you're handling your tax obligations correctly.
Absolutely. It's always wise to seek professional advice when it comes to complex financial matters like taxes.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive into Robert Flower's new book. We've explored the basics of real estate, different market types, and even touched upon market cycles. Then we delved into the world of residential rental properties, highlighting the benefits and some entry-level strategies like house hacking.
Yeah. And we've also started to unpack the intriguing world of wholesaling, where you can make money in real estate without actually owning any property. We've talked about finding motivated sellers, building a buyer's list, negotiating deals, and even addressed the legal and financial considerations involved.
And this is just the beginning. We've only scratched the surface of what this book has to offer. But for now, we're going to take a short break. When we return, we'll continue our deep dive into Robert Flower's real estate investment strategies for beginners, exploring even more advanced techniques and strategies to help you unlock your real estate investing potential. So stay tuned.
And don't forget, you can find Robert Flower's book on Amazon. We'll be sure to include a link in the show notes. See you soon.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm excited to kind of dig deeper into Robert Flower's book and see what more is in there.
Me too. I feel like we covered a lot of the foundational stuff.
You did, yeah.
In the first part, like different types of real estate markets, strategies like rentals and wholesaling. Now I'm really curious to see what more advanced techniques the book has to offer.
Yeah, so one thing that really resonated with me was the emphasis on real estate market analysis.
Okay.
It's not enough to just, know about different markets. You need to be able to analyze them to make truly informed investment decisions.
Right, like really understanding the area,
Yeah.
the nuances
Yeah.
of that particular market.
It's like being a detective looking for clues and patterns to understand where the market is headed and what opportunities might be emerging.
I love that analogy.
Right.
Being a real estate detective.
Yeah, you got to put on your detective hat.
Put on that magnifying glass.
Exactly.
Okay, so what kind of clues should we be looking for?
Well, Robert Flowers dives into some key indicators of market health.
Okay.
Things like median home prices, inventory levels, days on market rental rates.
Okay, so really understanding the numbers.
The numbers, yes.
Yes, of that particular market.
By tracking these indicators, you can get a sense of whether a market is heating up, cooling down, or somewhere in between.
So it's not just about finding a property you like. It's about understanding the bigger picture, the forces at play in that particular market.
Exactly.
Is it a buyer's market or a seller's market? Are prices rising or falling? What's the overall trend? Exactly. And the book provides some really helpful tools and resources for conducting this market analysis. We're talking like data analytics platforms, industry reports, even government statistics.
Wow, so you really can take a deep dive
You can.
into all of the data.
There's a wealth of information out there
That's awesome.
to help you make data-driven decisions.
So you're not just relying on intuition
Right.
or gut feeling. You're looking at the numbers, crunching the data, and basing your decisions on solid evidence.
Yes. And this data-driven approach can help you identify market trends and those all-important cycles we talked about earlier.
Right.
By analyzing market data, you can potentially predict where a particular market is heading in the cycle
Okay.
and adjust your investment strategy accordingly.
So you're not just riding the wave.
Okay.
You're trying to anticipate the next crest or trough,
Exactly.
which can give you a significant advantage in the market.
It can, yeah.
But real estate isn't just about numbers and data, right? It's also affected by broader economic factors, things like interest rates, inflation, employment levels. How does the book address those?
Robert Flowers dedicates a good portion of the book to explaining how these macroeconomic forces impact real estate.
Okay.
For example, rising interest rates can make it more expensive to finance a property,
Of course.
potentially dampening demand.
So even if you find the perfect property,
Right.
if interest rates are sky high,
Exactly.
it might not be the right time to buy. You have to consider the bigger economic picture.
You do. You absolutely do.
And inflation can also have a significant impact on real estate values, right?
Yes. As the cost of goods and services rises, the value of real estate often follows suit.
Yeah, it's a complex interplay of factors.
It is.
But understanding these economic forces can give you a real edge in the real estate game. It's about connecting the dots and seeing the bigger picture.
Exactly. And that's what Robert Flowers does so well in this book. He provides that foundational knowledge, those tools and insights to help you navigate the real estate world with more confidence.
Now, once you've analyzed the market, found a property, and maybe even secured financing, there's another crucial aspect to consider: property management. Owning a rental property is one thing, but actually managing it effectively is a whole other ballgame.
Yeah, that's where things can get really hands-on. And honestly, it's not for
All
everyone.
right, I can imagine.
Some people thrive on the day-to-day tasks of property management, dealing with tenants, handling repairs, collecting rent. Others prefer to outsource those responsibilities to a professional property manager.
So there's a choice to be made: DIY or delegate.
Exactly.
What are the pros and cons of each approach? Does a book offer any guidance on making that decision?
It certainly does. Robert Flowers lays out the fundamentals of property management, starting with the roles and responsibilities of a property manager. He discusses the tasks involved, the skills required, and the potential benefits and drawbacks of both managing yourself and hiring a professional.
Okay, so let's break down some of those tasks involved in property management. What are the key things a property manager is responsible for?
Well, tenant screening is a big one.
Okay.
Finding reliable, responsible tenants is crucial for a successful rental business.
Right. You want to make sure you get good people in there.
You do. You absolutely do. A property manager will typically handle advertising, the property screening applicants, conducting background checks, and ultimately selecting the best fit for the property.
So it's about finding tenants who will pay their rent on time, take care of the property, and be good neighbors.
Exactly. Those are the ideal tenants.
The dream tenants.
Yes, but finding tenants is just the beginning.
Right. Once they move in, there's the ongoing relationship to manage.
Exactly. A property manager handles lease agreements, collects rent addresses, tenant concerns, and even deals with maintenance and repairs.
Wow, so they really are handling everything.
They are. It's about being the liaison between the landlord and the tenant, ensuring a smooth and positive experience for both parties.
It sounds like a pretty demanding role, requiring strong communication skills,
Right.
problem-solving abilities, and a knack for handling potentially stressful situations.
It can be at times,
Yeah, I can imagine.
but it can also be quite rewarding, especially if you enjoy working with people and helping create a positive living environment.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a skill set that can be developed over time, right?
It can. It absolutely can.
The book provides helpful tips and techniques for effective property management, covering everything from tenant communication to rent collection to maintenance best practices.
It does. It's a really great resource.
I'm curious to hear more about those techniques. What are some of the key things the book recommends for effective property management?
One area the book emphasizes is proactive maintenance.
Okay.
It's about addressing small issues before they become big problems. Regular inspections, routine maintenance tasks, and responding promptly to tenant requests can go a long way in preventing costly repairs down the road.
So it's not just about fixing things when they break.
Right.
It's about preventing them from breaking in the first place.
Exactly.
That makes sense both from a financial perspective and for keeping tenants happy.
Absolutely. Happy tenants are good tenants.
Right. Happy tenants pay their rent on time.
Exactly. And that brings us to another crucial aspect of property management: rent collection.
Ah, yes, the bread and butter.
It is. It's the lifeblood of your rental business, but it can also be a source of stress and frustration if not handled effectively.
Let's face it, no one likes chasing down late rent payments.
No, nobody does.
So what tips does the book offer on streamlining rent collection and handling those awkward situations when a tenant is behind on their payments?
Well, Robert Flowers recommends setting clear expectations from the start.
Okay.
Make sure the rent payment due date is clearly stated in the lease agreement, and consider offering multiple payment options such as online payments or automatic bank transfers.
Right, making it super easy for them.
Exactly, to make it as easy as possible for tenants to pay on time.
So it's about making it convenient for tenants to pay their rent while also being firm about the deadline.
Right, it's about finding that balance.
But what happens if a tenant does fall behind? How do you approach that conversation?
The book stresses the importance of addressing the issue promptly and professionally.
Yeah.
Communication is key. Try to understand the tenant's situation and work with them to find a solution.
Okay.
Perhaps they're experiencing a temporary financial hardship and need a payment plan.
It's about finding a compassionate yet firm approach, balancing empathy with your responsibility as a landlord to collect rent and maintain the financial stability of your business.
Precisely. And if all else fails, the book does provide guidance on the legal processes involved in eviction,
Okay.
but it emphasizes that eviction should always be a last resort used only after all other options have been exhausted.
Right, because that's a whole other can of worms.
It is. It is.
Okay, we've covered a lot of the operational aspects of property management: finding tenants, lease agreements, maintenance, rent collection. But there's also the marketing side of things. Right. How do you attract those high-quality tenants to your properties, especially in a competitive market?
The book talks about the importance of showcasing your properties in the best possible light.
Okay.
This means professional quality photos, detailed descriptions that highlight the key features and amenities, and strategically targeting your ideal tenant demographic.
It's like staging a house for sale, but for renters.
Exactly.
You want to create an appealing presentation that highlights the property's strengths and attracts the right tenants.
Absolutely. And with the rise of online platforms, marketing your rental properties has become much easier.
Right. So many more tools available now.
Yeah, you can list your properties on websites like ZillowApartments.com and even utilize social media platforms like Facebook to reach a wider audience.
So it's about being where your potential tenants are, using a combination of online and offline marketing strategies to get your properties in front of the right people. And before we move on, I want to touch upon something that's incredibly important, especially in the context of real estate investing. Legal considerations.
Ah, yes, the legal stuff.
The fun stuff.
It can feel a bit overwhelming, especially if you're new to real estate. But as Robert Flowers emphasizes, it's crucial to understand the legal framework within which you're operating.
Absolutely. The book dedicates an entire chapter to legal considerations, starting with property laws and regulations. Can you give us a brief overview of some of the key legal aspects that real estate investors need to be aware of?
One of the most important concepts, which we touched upon earlier, is due diligence.
Right.
This is the process of thoroughly investigating a property before you buy it to ensure there are no hidden legal issues or liabilities.
So really scrutinizing all the details.
You really do. It's like doing your homework before making a major purchase. You want to make sure there are no surprises down the road that could cost you time, money, or even legal trouble.
Absolutely.
Due diligence involves things like reviewing title documents, inspecting the property for any building code violations, and even researching the zoning regulations for the area to ensure your intended use of the property is permitted.
So you're making sure the property is legally sound, you have clear ownership, and you're not walking into a situation with hidden problems.
Exactly. You don't want any skeletons in the closet.
No, you don't.
And the book provides a step-by-step guide to conducting due diligence, highlighting the key documents you'll need and the resources you can use to gather the necessary information.
Okay, so due diligence is all about protecting yourself legally before you even buy the property.
Yes.
But what about legal considerations once you own the property, especially if you're renting it out? What legal documents are essential for rental properties?
The lease agreement is absolutely crucial, as we discussed earlier. It's the cornerstone of the landlord-tenant relationship.
Right.
It needs to be clear, comprehensive, and legally sound to protect both you and your tenants.
So it's not just about scribbling something down on a piece of paper. You need a professionally drafted lease agreement that complies with all applicable laws and clearly outlines the rights and responsibilities of both parties.
Precisely. And the book provides some excellent resources and templates for creating lease agreements.
Awesome.
It also highlights other important legal documents like eviction notices, security deposit receipts, and even pet policies, if applicable.
So it's about having all your legal ducks in a row,
It is.
ensuring everything is properly documented and in compliance with the law.
Exactly. And remember, legal requirements can vary significantly from state to state and even from city to city.
Right, of course.
So it's always a good idea to consult with a real estate attorney familiar with the laws in your specific area.
Excellent advice. Now, even with the best legal preparations in place, sometimes disputes arise. It's just the nature of business. So what guidance does the book offer on dealing with legal disputes, especially those involving tenants or property-related issues?
Robert Flowers emphasizes the importance of trying to resolve disputes amicably whenever possible.
Okay.
This might involve direct negotiation with the other party, mediation with a neutral third party, or even arbitration where a neutral party makes a binding decision.
So it's about finding solutions that work for everyone involved, ideally without resorting to costly and time-consuming court battles.
Exactly. Nobody wants to end up in court.
No, it's the last resort.
It is. And the book provides some helpful tips and techniques for effective negotiation and dispute resolution, helping you navigate those difficult conversations and find common ground.
Okay, so it's about being proactive, communicative, and solution-oriented. But it's also about knowing when to seek professional help.
Absolutely. The book acknowledges that sometimes legal representation is necessary, especially in complex or contentious cases where your rights or interests might be at stake.
So it's about understanding your limits, knowing when to seek expert advice, and having a legal professional in your corner to guide you through the process. Now let's shift gears and talk about another crucial aspect of real estate investing, financial planning.
Ah, yes, the money stuff.
Always important.
Always important. We've touched upon budgeting and financing, but I'm eager to hear more about the financial planning advice Robert Flowers offers in his book.
Me too. What are some of the key financial planning principles he highlights that are particularly relevant for real estate investors?
One of the foundational principles he emphasizes is setting clear financial goals.
Okay.
What are you hoping to achieve through real estate investing? Are you looking for short-term profits, long-term wealth building, or a combination of both?
It's about having that vision, that roadmap to guide your investment decisions and ensure you're making choices aligned with your overall financial objectives.
Exactly. Once you know your goals, you can start creating a budget, exploring different financing options, and developing a strategy to reach those goals.
We talked about mortgages earlier, but are there other financing options available to real estate investors, especially those who might not qualify for traditional loans or are looking for more creative financing solutions?
Absolutely. Robert Flowers explores a variety of financing options, including private loans, hard money loans, and even partnerships.
Okay.
He explains how these options work, the pros and cons of each, and how to determine which might be the best fit for your particular situation and investment strategy.
It's great to know there are options beyond just going to the bank, especially for those who might be starting out with limited capital or have unique financing needs.
Mm-hmm. There are definitely options out there.
Now, one thing that's often overlooked, especially by new investors, is the role of credit in real estate.
Right.
Why is credit so important? What advice does Robert Flowers give on managing your credit wisely?
Your credit score is essentially your financial report card.
Yeah.
It tells lenders how responsible you are with money.
Right.
A good credit score can make it much easier to secure financing for real estate investments, often at more favorable interest rates and terms.
So it's not just about getting approved for a loan. It's about getting the best possible terms,
Exactly.
which can save you thousands of dollars over the life of the loan.
Absolutely.
What are some specific tips the book offers for improving your credit score?
Well, Robert Flowers provides practical advice on managing your credit wisely,
Okay.
such as paying your bills on time, keeping your credit utilization low, and regularly checking your credit report for errors.
Those are all good tips.
Yeah, they're important. He emphasizes that building good credit is an ongoing process,
Right.
requiring discipline and attention to detail.
It's an investment in your financial future, not just for real estate, but for any major purchase or financial endeavor you might undertake.
Mm.
Now, we can't forget about everyone's favorite topic, taxes.
Oh, yes, those pesky taxes.
How does Robert Flowers' book address tax considerations and benefits for real estate investors, especially those who are new to the game and might not be familiar with the tax implications of real estate ownership?
The book delves into some key tax benefits that are particularly relevant to real estate investors, especially those involved in rental properties.
Okay, give us the good stuff. What are some of those tax advantages that make real estate such an attractive investment?
One of the biggest tax advantages is depreciation.
Depreciation, okay.
Depreciation allows you to deduct a portion of the property's value each year on your taxes, even though the property itself might be appreciating in value.
Wait, so you're getting a tax break on something that's actually becoming more valuable? How does that work?
It seems counterintuitive, but the IRS recognizes that properties wear down over time.
Okay,
So they allow you to deduct a portion of the property's cost as an expense each year.
got it.
This reduces your taxable income and can save you a significant amount of money.
Okay, that's a pretty sweet deal.
Great.
What other tax benefits does the book highlight?
It also talks about deducting mortgage interest property taxes and other operating expenses related to your rental properties.
Okay.
These deductions can further reduce your tax liability and improve your overall return on investment.
So it's not just about the income you're generating, it's about understanding the tax implications and maximizing your deductions to keep more of that hard-earned money in your pocket.
Exactly. And that's why it's often a good idea to consult with a tax professional who specializes in real estate investing. They can help you navigate the complexities of the tax code and ensure you're taking advantage of all the legal deductions and benefits available to you.
Great advice. Now, we've covered a lot of ground in this second part of our deep dive into Robert Flowers' new book, moving from foundational knowledge into more strategic and nuanced aspects of real estate investing. We've explored market analysis, property management, legal considerations, financial planning, and even touched upon those ever-present taxes.
It's been a whirlwind tour, but I think we've gained some valuable insights into how to evaluate market trends, screen tenants, manage properties effectively, and even navigate legal disputes.
Yeah, I feel like I've learned a lot.
The book provides a holistic view of real estate investing, empowering readers to make informed decisions every step of the way.
And I love how Robert Flowers weaves in personal anecdotes and real-world examples to illustrate these concepts.
Yeah.
It makes the information more relatable and memorable.
He does. He's a great storyteller.
Yeah, and you can really tell that he's passionate about helping people succeed in real estate.
Oh, absolutely. His passion comes through in his writing.
Absolutely. Right. We're not done yet. There's still more to uncover in this treasure trove of real estate wisdom. When we come back for the final part of our deep dive, we'll explore even more advanced techniques and strategies, including risk management exit strategies and the all-important mindset for success in real estate investing. So stick with us. Welcome back to the deep dive. We're wrapping up our exploration of Robert Flowers' new book, Real Estate Investment Strategies for Beginners. I'm really eager to dive into this final piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, me too. We've covered so much ground already.
We have, yeah.
From the fundamentals of real estate all the way to advanced techniques
Right.
for market analysis, property management, legal considerations. But there's one crucial aspect we haven't touched upon yet: risk management.
Yes, risk. It's something that every investor has to grapple with. No investment is entirely risk-free, and real estate is no exception. What insights does Robert Flowers offer on identifying and mitigating the risks involved in real estate investing?
Well, the book does a great job of breaking down different types of real estate risks.
Oh.
It starts with market risks, which is the risk that the overall real estate market could decline, impacting the value of your investments.
So even if you've done your due diligence and found a seemingly fantastic property, external factors beyond your control could still affect your returns.
Exactly. Think about things like economic recessions, changes in interest rates, or even natural disasters. These can all significantly impact the real estate market as a whole.
Okay, so market risk is about the big picture, the macro environment. But there are also risks specific to individual properties, right? Things that might not be apparent at first glance.
Absolutely. Robert Flowers talks about property-specific risks, such as structural problems, environmental hazards, or even issues with the title.
Right.
This is where that thorough due diligence comes in.
Right, that deep dive into the property's history and condition that we discussed earlier.
Yeah.
It's about uncovering any potential red flags before you commit to buying a property.
Precisely. And then there's financial risk, which is all about your ability to secure financing for your investments and manage your debt wisely.
So it's not just about finding a property you can afford at the outset. It's about ensuring you can handle the ongoing costs of ownership, like mortgage payments, property taxes, insurance, maintenance, and of course those unexpected expenses that always seem to pop up.
Right. A leaky roof, a broken appliance, a tenant who suddenly stops paying rent. These things happen.
Yeah.
And it's important to have a financial cushion to absorb those unexpected costs.
So it's about being prepared for the unexpected, having a contingency plan, and not overextending yourself financially.
Okay, we've identified some of the key risks involved in real estate investing. But what about mitigating those risks? What strategies does Robert Flowers recommend for protecting your investments?
One of the most effective strategies is diversification, which we touched upon earlier in the context of financial planning.
But it's also a powerful risk management tool. By spreading your investments across different types of properties, different markets, and even different investment strategies, you're reducing your exposure to any one particular risk.
It's the classic don't put all your eggs in one basket approach.
Yeah.
If one investment takes a hit, your other investments can help balance things out and protect your overall portfolio.
Precisely. Another key strategy is thorough research and due diligence. The more you know about a property, a market, or an investment strategy, the better equipped you are to assess
Right.
and mitigate the associated risks.
Knowledge is power, right? It's about understanding the potential pitfalls and making informed decisions based on solid research and analysis.
Absolutely. The book also highlights the importance of insurance
Oh, yeah.
as a risk mitigation tool.
That's a good point. Insurance often gets overlooked, but it plays a crucial role in protecting your investments. Can you elaborate on that?
Sure. Insurance is essentially a way to transfer risk from yourself to an insurance company. Having the right insurance policies in place can protect you from financial losses
Right.
due to unforeseen events like fires, floods, theft, or even lawsuits.
So it's a safety net. It might not prevent bad things from happening, but it can help you recover financially if they do.
Exactly.
So we've talked about identifying and mitigating risks, but what about exit strategies? This seems particularly important in real estate investing where your money is tied up in a physical asset.
Having a clear exit strategy is crucial. You don't want to be stuck with a property that you can't sell or rent.
Right.
When your circumstances change or market conditions shift, the book explores various exit strategies such as selling the property outright, refinancing to pull out equity, or even doing a 1031 exchange to defer capital gains taxes.
So there are options depending on your individual goals and the market dynamics at the time. It's about having a plan, even if that plan evolves over time. Now, we've been focusing a lot on the technical aspects of real estate investing, but there's also the human side, the mindset, the personal qualities, the skills. What does Robert Flowers have to say about that?
This is where the book goes beyond just the how-to and delves into the why and the who.
Okay.
He emphasizes the importance of having a long-term vision, being patient, persistent, and adaptable.
Those are qualities that apply to any successful endeavor, right?
They do.
But they seem particularly crucial in real estate, where deals can take time to materialize and markets can be unpredictable.
Absolutely. He also stresses the importance of continuous learning. The real estate market is constantly evolving.
Right.
So staying informed about new trends, strategies, and technologies is vital.
It's about being a lifelong learner, always seeking to expand your knowledge and refine your skills. And that brings us to the final point I want to highlight from the book, the importance of building a strong network.
Yes. Real estate investing is not a solo sport. It's about connecting with other investors, real estate agents, lenders, contractors, property managers, and other professionals who can support you on your journey.
It's about building relationships, learning from others, and finding mentors who can offer guidance and advice based on their own experiences.
Exactly. And those relationships can open doors to new opportunities, provide valuable insights, and even help you navigate challenging situations.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Robert Flowers' real estate investment strategies for beginners, what are the key takeaways for our listeners? What are those nuggets of wisdom they can apply to their own real estate journey?
Real estate investing is accessible to anyone. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, there are opportunities to build wealth through real estate, but it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. It requires knowledge, strategy, a willingness to put in the work, and a long-term perspective.
It's about treating it like a business, setting clear goals, developing a plan, managing your finances wisely, and constantly seeking to improve your knowledge and skills.
Absolutely. And remember, risk is an inherent part of any investment. The key is to understand those risks, mitigate them effectively, and have a clear exit strategy in place.
And don't be afraid to seek help along the way. Connect with other investors, find mentors, build a strong network of professionals who can support you and offer guidance.
Robert Flowers has given us the tools, the knowledge, and the inspiration. Now it's up to each of us to take action, apply those principles, and create our own success stories in the world of real estate investing.
And if you're ready to embark on that journey, we highly recommend checking out Robert Flowers' book, Real Estate Investment Strategies for Beginners. It's a fantastic resource for anyone looking to learn the ropes, navigate the complexities of a market, and unlock their real estate investing potential. You can find it on Amazon. We'll include a link in the show notes.
It's been a pleasure diving into this book with you. It's packed with valuable information, practical advice, and inspiring stories.
I couldn't agree more. I feel like we've just scratched the surface of what Robert Flowers has to offer, but I'm excited to see what our listeners do with this knowledge and how they apply these strategies to achieve their own real estate goals.
Me too.
Well, that's it for today's deep dive. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.